stuff and
Yeah, next
working
week
on
I'm
leads
making them
together.
having them do goals next week. And
Yeah,
then they have to bring in 10 leads, and we're gonna just basically next week, we're gonna make phone calls for
yeah,
the whole thing. And I got them all set up on the Trello deal and stuff like that. So,
yeah. I saw your Trello board and everything. Yeah, you got it. Looks good, man. It should be productive. Everybody seemed like they were excited about it.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I heard a lot of enthusiasm on that call. All right, you guys. So Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. in the in the middle part of the country. Welcome to the Wednesday role play session. Hopefully, we can get some people in here. Anybody have any particular role play scenarios that they want to do? All you need to do is raise your hand. We'll go through it. I'll go through it with you. If in fact you want to do something else, like I'll make some phone calls, whatever it is that would help everybody kind of move along and get their businesses growing and whatnot. That's what we're here for. As you know, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Before I do, okay, looks like we're starting to have some folks show up. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let me share my screen real quick and kind of just go over once again kind of what our philosophies are. Can you guys see my screen, mastering the phone? Perfect, thank you, thank you. So this is basically how we operate. This is what we do in this particular program is we try to get you to get your skill set up on the phone so that you're comfortable and you start understanding what it is that you're trying to extract as far as a phone conversation. And right now, we all know, I mean, the word is out there, the buzz is out there. Phone work right now is a little challenging in terms of, what you're hearing on the phone because we're dealing in a seller's market. Sellers are thinking they can get whatever they want for their property right now. They're holding out for the highest offers. They're real confident. They're hearing all sorts of positive stuff. But keep in mind that they're not real estate professionals. I think the most important thing that you can do right now is to have a strong follow-up system. And it doesn't need to be anything fancy. It just needs to be some sort of system where you can go in and continue to drip on people with information about who you are, the fact that you're still engaged in wanting to purchase their properties. Like that's probably more important right now than it's ever been. Not only that, it gives us a chance to start to develop the habits of follow-up. Because for a short period of time there, especially last year or so, we kind of got spoiled, right? Because we were knocking down some deals on the first call. We were scraping Zillow, we were scraping Craigslist and stuff, and we were getting a lot of responses, and we were closing deals. Then all of a sudden, we started seeing some things happening in the marketplace. For instance, Zillow started having their little problems with us getting their information. So they stopped putting buyer information onto Zillow. They started making it more difficult. Oh, I'm sorry, seller information on there, on for sale by owner listings. So we weren't able to scrape them. Fortunately, if you're in this group, we use the automated REI, which allows us to not only pull the Zillow leads, and I believe as far as I know right now, they are the only ones that are actually even doing that. No one else at the moment is even doing scraping Zillow. So what they have done for us is they have combined it with skip tracing. So what happens at the automated REI is that they scrape the Zillow leads and then they run it through a skip trace so that they can get you the seller information and you can still continue to do that. And, my hat goes off to, Michael Batista Justin, those guys work on that thing but that's Michael's platform. He's doing a great job as far as the Zillow scrapes go and also the skip tracing. I don't currently know of anybody else who's actually doing it. If anybody does, please pull my coattail. If there, and then of course, there's always Craigslist. Craigslist hasn't been a great source for me. And the reason why I say it hasn't is because it takes too much work and too much time for me personally to sort out the information, because there's just a bunch of, in my opinion, a bunch of garbage that you have to just kind of weed through on there. I haven't had a whole bunch of luck with doing that. I sometimes can pull some information on some buyers and things like that, but a lot of the postings that I see in terms of buyers are also just wholesalers that went and grabbed some information and they're posting ads or whatever, and they're not really end buyers. So I haven't even been using it as a source for finding buyers. It hasn't been strong for me in that regard. So if you guys have anything that you know that's different than anything that I'm saying, post it in the chat, or come on to the call and let's talk about it. But that's kind of been what I've been seeing. So what we've been having to do is really niche down our marketing and kind of layer our lead generation stuff. With that said, if I was to put it in a hierarchy, the number one source of leads right now, I believe in the industry as a whole, is attraction marketing leads, where you're putting out content, where you're providing value in the marketplace. People have an interest, or they are attracted to you for whatever reason, the information that you're putting out, and then they come to you. Needless to say, that's a much stronger lead than you would get if you were to go out there and just start scraping and looking for, let's say vacant houses or something, which is one of the hardest leads for you to actually go after, especially as a new person, because vacant leads are, that's a chase. As soon as you decide to go after vacant leads, you might as well put your track shoes on and get your wallet out, right? Because it's going to be you're going to chase these people. They're not trying to be found in most cases. And then also consider this. Let's say you went and, you went to a lead source and you bought a list. Well, you're not the only one that bought that list. And there's people who bought that list who may have more experience and more budget and more staff than you have currently in your situation. So just know that that's kind of what you're dealing with that. And so don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen right away for you in that respect. In our group, in Real Estate Wholesalers Club, we talk about a number of different ways. Arturo, one of our other coaches, on Fridays, he focuses on mastering your local market. So he does a lot of things that are related to you being able to, do some work right there where you are, which in many cases will reduce the budget necessary for you to get some leads. And then on Thursdays, my man Mark, who's also here on the call, he does live phone calls, which we'll do today if it gets to that. My format is a little bit different in that we do a little bit more role playing. We talk about a little bit of deal structure. I answer questions and we sort of do an open forum type of format, which is a little bit different. So what I try to do is I look for your challenges, have you bring the challenges to me, and then we try to see what we can do to help you overcome them. Whereas Mark, who does an amazing job on Thursdays, he actually will make phone calls, and he'll make your phone calls for you as well if you bring a list. So that's kind of like the pitch. I know most of you guys already know all this stuff. You're on here all the time. You're probably like, Victor, shut the hell up. We already know all this. But For those, couple who have not been here before, who I hope we're attracting, a new audience every now and then, we just want to share that information. So with that said, is there anybody who has something right now, a challenge, something that they wanted to deal with that maybe we can, we can discuss, maybe some kind of deal structure situation, a challenge that they had on a phone call, responses that they're continuously getting from people on the phone, anything like that jumps out at you that you might want to discuss? I know you guys are not all just blowing it up. I need money to buy another house. Okay, Alan Bryan says, I need money to buy another house or move down south. Great, great. Thank you, Alan, for that. So needless to say, that becomes a challenge for us, in as much as if we want to structure that deal in a way that benefits us, we've got to respond to that. So how do we respond to that? My number one response to that is, how much money do you need? Because I need them to expand on this particular question. How much money do you need? And do you need it all right now? And have you thought about, would it really be a benefit to you to get all of that money in one lump sum? Like, there could be some tax challenges or whatever. Now, I'm not trying to necessarily tell them what to do, but what I'm trying to do is open up another conversation in their mind about, it may seem simple because most of us, we don't have the experience in real estate, and most people just look at it like an over-the-counter transaction, right? Like, I give you money, you give me product type of thing. But when you're talking about real estate and you're talking about the amount of dollars that are involved, there could be some other ramifications to, taking down a whole bunch of cash money. You could end up paying as much as 40% of that money to Uncle Sam. So I just kind of broached that like a conversation, like, okay, well, let me ask you, Mr. Seller, how much money would you need right away? Would you need all of it? And they might say no. Or would you benefit from maybe some a chunk of money up front and some monthly payments moving forward? Would that possibly help you even a little bit more? That way, you kind of reduce your tax burden and you're still able to receive the income on a monthly basis that would help you pay your bills, pay your new mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. Is that something we can talk about, or maybe not? Right. So now at least I've introduced something else into the conversation that they may have not thought about in the past. But the real number that I'm looking for is, how much money do you need right now? Because it's not always, if they say the property is worth 150,000, they may not, or that's going to be what they take home. They may not need 150,000. Right? Like, they may not need that. They might actually only need 40,000. And then all of a sudden they're thinking 40,000, I might be able to get a little bit of interest. And now I'm getting monthly payments, which will take care of everything. And then there's the added benefit of, if I do get in a squeeze, I could sell this note and get money instantly type of situation. So now I'm kind of, bringing up some stuff. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because the only thing I'm trying to do is create a sellable instrument, right? That's our job, is we're trying to create a sellable instrument. When you're talking about doing a wholesale deal, it's not really about the property. You guys know that, right? It's not about the property. It's about the contract. Yes, the property is the security for that contract, and the property will allow you to have that deal in the first place. But really what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a contract that allows somebody to maybe come in, put some money into the deal, and get out on the other side and put a bunch of money in their pocket. That's what every wholesaler wants to do. That's what every fix and flipper wants to do. And even the buy and hold guy would like to be able to buy, hold, and hold on to some equity, right? I mean, if you're that guy, are those not the things that inspire you? That's why you're in the game, right? So that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create something that really speaks to your buyer. So always imagine that whatever you're putting together for the benefit of the buyer. And how can I sell this the fastest? So one of the things that I've seen, and I don't want to go too far away from the questions. Hopefully that helped. But especially in this market, guys, and I know it's a little bit more difficult. And I know that right now, the main thing you want to do is you want to get a deal. Like that's the most important thing in your life right now. Like everybody just wants to get that one deal, that what Justin calls shut up money. What he means by shut up money is basically that, you've proven it to yourself, you've proven it to your, negative naysayers around you, which oftentimes are your family and friends. But but more importantly, you've proven it to yourself that this works. I'm on the right track. And if I hone it down, I can replicate this over and over, and I can start to create a lifestyle for myself, right? I believe that at the core of all of it, that's what we're all doing, right? So we want to get that shut up money. The point I'm making with going there is the easiest way to sell a deal is to have a deal that somebody wants to buy. A lot of people right now, I'm noticing, and I try to discourage this when I see it, they're going out and they're finding deals and they're finding people to talk to, and they're going out into these rural communities and they're going out into these areas, and there's really no activity out in those areas. There's no buyers, there's nobody flipping houses, there's nobody doing anything in those areas. So now you have this contract, you have something under contract, and you kind of got this warm and fuzzy feeling, that you're moving forward in your business. The challenge is that if you don't have buyers for whatever it is you created, it's the disappointment can be almost bigger, because now you have a contract that just runs its course and expires and you can't find it. My point being, shop where people are buying. Find the areas where there is activity. Go in there. Trust me, nobody has a monopoly on the deals, right? Nobody is getting every single deal. I don't give a darn whose name is over there as far as being the biggest player in the game, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's always somebody in those areas. The reason why they're hot is because there's opportunity there. So jump in the opportunity pools as opposed to trying to go out and you're having trouble comping it. You're having to pull comps from an entire county, and that's not completely out of the question, but understand that that's a process that may take a little bit longer than you actually have staying power in this game. So focus on the areas that are hot. Focus on the areas where they have people. Focus on the areas where you see flippers. If any of you guys are using PropStream, for instance, Justin just put out a video the other day where he was talking about how to use flip comps in PropStream. I have been using it almost from the time I actually got onto PropStream and realized that was actually an option on PropStream. Right? Is flip comps are amazing because that kind of gives you a real quick snapshot of who's doing flips in your area. It also gives you an opportunity to take a look and see what kind of work they're doing, because almost every flip comp that I've ever seen on PropStream, and I'll invite Vernon. Vernon is he's on there on PropStream. So is Rick Gentry and Mark Richardson. I know all you guys are on PropStream, but most of the flip comps they have photos. So when you're making your argument to a guy who thinks his house is like, worth $350,000 because he's comparing it to the flip down the street, you just kind of gently just stroke him with those photos of the other property. look, does your property look like this? Right? Not like in a mean way, but you need ammunition in this marketplace. And that goes back to another question that we have, which I have had 20 offers over my listing price. And Chuck said, he said, I had 29 offers over your listing price. Oh, you had 29 offers over your listing price was his response. And I guess he just wanted to, have them.
I mirrored him.
Yeah, Chuck, you're here. Yeah, talk to me about that, man.
Called a gentleman. He said, I said, started the whole thing. I said, well, what's your reason for selling it? He says, mine, I'm gonna sell it. I said, okay, we're good there. And then I started giving a spiel about how much he was telling me how much it was worth, and he pulled his comp was the house across the street. And he said, well, I think my house is worth as much as that. So while he was talking, I was actually bringing it all up on PropStream and Zillow. He compared his 2,000 square foot 3.2 to the house across the street, which was on the estate lot. And it is a 5.4 that was 5,000 square feet with not just one, but two pools and an entire outside living area that was just spectacular.
Right.
And it's 460. And he said his house is worth 350 if that's worth 460. So I decided I would just feel the guy out because it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if I could make an offer for you today, at your asking price or, maybe somewhere around it, can we do business today? He said, well, here's the deal. I've got 20 offers on sitting here for over my list price. And I said, you had 20 offers over your list price? He said, I sure have. I said, why didn't you take it? He said, I wasn't ready to move.
He said, what?
He said, I wasn't ready to move.
Oh.
I said, okay, sir, I really can't help you out today. But
yeah,
good luck.
Exactly. So at some point you just had to cut ties with that whole conversation, right? Because you obviously realized that they were unreasonable. They weren't motivated in the sense of being motivated. And that's the prequel part of our conversation. If they're not motivated, oftentimes you hear people come onto the call and they'll ask questions about, what do you say if a person says this, or what do you say if a person says that? The answer is they're not motivated. And if they're not motivated, get off the phone. Maybe ask them one more question just to before I get off the phone, let me ask you real quick. Why did you list your property? Why did you list it? And they'll come up with some ridiculous answer, and it'll probably just solidify in your mind that they're just playing games. They're not that serious about, what it is that they're trying to do. And you have to move on. Unfortunately, folks, that's the pool we're swimming in at this time. So how do we win in this environment? We use them for practice, right? We get our game tight. We go through all the calls. We get all of the objections that we can possibly get. We hear every single negative response that we can probably get. We deal with every ego that we can possibly deal with in terms of the person on the other line. By the time this market shifts, and we all know it'll shift, right? Because that's what real estate does. It's cyclical. And right now they're kind of sitting on their high horse and they're kind of feeling like they're indestructible. But as we continue to work our game, we continue to get our game tight. And while we're getting our game tight, we're developing some strategies, understanding how to, move some things around, understanding that really the only game we're ever playing as far as real estate is creating a sellable instrument unless you're buying it for yourself. That's all we're doing. That's all we're ever doing, right? If it's not sellable, don't bother. It's not a deal if it's not something that that you can go out into the marketplace and have somebody give you money for. Right? So that's always the game. Let me see if I have any more questions. Does anybody have anything that they want to, go over, a challenge that they've had? Vernon, is that you raising your hand? or you just,
Nah, I was gonna say,
uh-huh.
what are you finding your most success as far as different lists or areas where you market at?
What I'm doing is I'm kind of layering my list right now. So I'm looking at um, my number one target right now is pre-foreclosures. They are my absolute, number one target. If I can find a pre-foreclosure with a lot of equity, with a long-term ownership, where I think that they've owned it for a long time and they're motivated not to lose their property. If you lived in your house and you're 60 years old, 65 years old, you're not really trying to lose your house and move out, right? But you also may not be sophisticated enough to know what your options are. So I find that, you can go in and you can create relationship and give them some additional options. I find that market is a little bit more receptive, right? And then my secondary market is probate.
Okay. How do you get the pre-foreclosures to pick up the phone? Because everybody and their mama is marketing to them.
Yeah. So right now I'm doing a campaign where I text first. I do a ringless voicemail within a minute of my text. And then I have another text that goes out about 30 minutes after that. Right. So that's the first thing. I basically jump on it like right away. I've been using a system called REI Reply. And the reason why I like it is because it has like a grab and drop menu. So what you can do is you can, like, if you have a touch point, let's say a ringless voicemail, right? You can, and the ringless voicemail was set to go out, in 6 hours. You can literally just pull it up, boom, and have the ringless voicemail go out 3 minutes later. And you can just kind of sit there and play with when you want your touch points to go out. So, I've been having a little bit of success. I think I'm going to have to, along with that, start to just do some strategic direct mail, right? Because now they know who I am. Now I've been able to send them to something that, might provide some value for them. And now I'm just basically saying, how can I help? And that's really the bottom line. How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? I'm here to help. How can I help? Here's some free stuff. How can I help? This is the process that you're getting ready to experience. How can I help?
What kind of copy are you giving them? What kind of free stuff are you giving them?
Oh, just like the foreclosure cycle, the foreclosure timeline. I have one that says 12 ways to stop foreclosure, right? Just, different strategies that they can use. The idea is that I understand that most people aren't going to really use most of them. You have some savvy people that will be like, oh, okay, I never thought of that. And they'll go out and implement it themselves, right? But I'm banking on that most people will be like, that's a great idea, but I have no idea how to do it, right? That's really the guy I need to call me back and say, can you help me? Right? Can you help me? And my number one source of leads and activity besides co-wholesaling with a lot of people is Zillow scraping. I still do a lot of Zillow scraping. I still have a lot of those conversations, and I'm really focused on follow up. That is my biggest, focus right now, is how can I do effective follow up?
Is the Zillow scraping and automatic REI, is that working or is not working?
When you say working, define it.
Can you scrape? Because I tried to scrape a couple times. It wouldn't scrape for me.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got in touch with Tusif and Michael, and
No,
they
I
haven't
gotta
been able
do
to
that.
free it up for you?
I got to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And so just so you know, and I hope they don't get upset with me saying this, the absolute best way to get in touch with them, if you need 2C's number, I have it, but they're on Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
And that's the absolute best way. They check Facebook Messenger all the time. If you go on there, you'll see Michael is always blue, which means he's always logged on. So that's really the best way to pull their coattail.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're having trouble, they have a commitment. They know it's glitchy. They know that Zillow is always doing something with their algorithm that'll alter the ability to get the information that they need, but they're always on top of it. So, just pull their coattail. Look, I'm hung up.
Okay. So I guess I got to get some foreclosure copy and
Okay.
send that
Yeah.
out and send that out.
Yeah, send that out. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I have stuff. I'm more than willing to share, the information that I have. I have some PDFs and some handouts and things like that you can use to just make yourself someone of service.
So
right?
So you send it in the text, or how you send it?
I have a website.
A website?
Yeah. So I'm trying to capture their information. The ideal scenario is, you send them and try to capture their information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what system are you using? Any?
Right now I'm just using Smarter Contact. I do have the REI reply because it was $50, but I haven't delved into it. I guess in the next few days. Well, not the next few days, I guess dive into that.
Yeah. It takes a little while to get it, but I'm actually looking to do a full training on REI reply, at least up to the point at which that I know how to use it right now, how to import your contacts, how to set up your touch points, how to order your phone numbers and stuff. So there's a lot of things that I've actually been able to learn from that thing, and I've it's not only is it $49, but you save a bunch of money on phone numbers and everything else because they're integrated with Twilio, and Twilio charges you $1 a month for phone numbers.
Right. So I have Smarter Contact. I got call tools.
Okay.
So I can cut some of that. I can cut some of that stuff.
Yeah.
With REI reply.
Yeah, you can reduce your cost significantly. I was able to, I'm systematically knocking out a bunch of the other phone numbers that I'm using. Even in you guys should probably know I use FreedomSoft as my primary CRM because it just has so many really great features. But I've actually moved away from them as a platform for texting, ringless voicemail and stuff because I was able to reduce my costs significantly. And right now, when deals are not nearly as plentiful as they were for me, just a few months back, it's like, okay, let's see if we can produce the same results but at a lower price point, right? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get out there with the same volume, but we can't do it. We can't be putting out $1,000 a month and having and operating in this market. At least for me, that just didn't make sense. But I couldn't stop marketing or pare everything down. So what you have to do is you have to try to maintain that same volume, but see where you can reduce your costs as much as possible, right? Because there's a saying that goes, influence is the new currency. In the real estate game, the way I look at that is that you've got to be out there. People have got to know that you're there. People have got to gain a certain level of respect for who you are, what you say, what you do, the results you're able to produce. Like in this society now, bragging actually works to your favor. Right? Like you've got to let people know that, look, not only, do I do this, but I'm good at it and I'm committed to helping you in doing it, right? Like a way of thinking, like a way of operating in your business. Otherwise, you're always just going out there and hoping to find that one guy who you can talk into something, because either they don't know better or you're fortunate enough to, have not had them called by 1,000 other people, that type of thing, right? And we all know we're all on the phones. We're all out there. We're all facing the same challenges in terms of trying to get somebody on the line that's actually ready to do a deal with us. We're all getting ghosted after we send the contract over. Like, we're all dealing with it. Every single one of us. No, you know, I'm not here trying to tell you, oh, that does not happen to me. I would be lying my behind on. It happens. I send contracts out and then crickets. And, you know, and I do the whole nine. You know, agenda, you know, qualifying, you know, locking them in, sending over contract, the whole nine, right? Confirming and reconfirming follow-up phone calls and all of that. And I'm sure everybody else on here is doing the same thing. I know Mark Richardson is doing it, you know, and everybody else who is on these phones. That's what we're doing. But it's still happening, and it's not our fault. It is the market in which we are playing currently.
So how many contacts you contact a week? 2,500, 1,000?
Right around that number.
2,500?
No, right around 1,000. Right now it's only me. So I have a couple of other projects that I'm working on, and I've also just become a real estate agent on a system that gives me leads consistently for real estate related stuff, right? Like there's a system, in case you guys don't know, with realtor.com, where they do a warm transfer of the lead while they're on the phone. So somebody will you know, respond to some sort of marketing, either on Facebook or, you know, on a website, Google search, whatever, and they'll speak to a well-trained representative at a call station. That representative will then press a button. It'll ping my phone, and I have to get on it as soon as it pings, because I'm telling you, 5 seconds is gone. They will transfer that live call directly over to me. I'm able to make an appointment and do something like that. I'm like, man, that would be a good thing to have in the wholesale business, right? If you could actually create that, and you don't pay for it, you pay for it out of the profits when you close, right? So, you know, that's one system. So because of that, I have some other resources that allow me to not have to be, you know, solely dependent on, you know, producing wholesaling deals or lease option deals or stuff like that, you know, during this particular cycle. But at the same time, I'm trying to open my umbrella, you know, and make sure that when all this is over, and you know, you guys, you know, should be looking at it like this: when all this is over, you want to be able to show up like somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about and has done it for a while.
Yeah, I actually think this, like, for us as a group, as wholesalers, I think this period where it's really, really, really hard, I think is the best thing in the world, because once the floodgates open, you'll be able to get more
To benefit from it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because right now we can set up our systems, we can do our phone call practice, you know, we can kind of test different type of things until we get comfortable with something. And as this starts to play itself out, we're going to have a platform established, and we're going to have a funnel built where people can just come in. You know what you're doing, you have your systems in place, you're able to turn deals, and anybody new coming into the game is going to be way behind the 8 ball.
Right.
All you got to do is survive this, though.
Right.
You know, if you can survive this and do the right things and just knock down a deal if you can knock down a deal a month, that'll keep you in the game, you're still going to be winning. You know, we have Claude on the line. I'm going to let him.
I'm kind of jealous of that hair too. I'm very jealous of that hair. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, right. I mean, because he's wilding out right now there. Yeah, what's going on, jealous. Claude? How you doing, bud?
Man, I want to join your church, man. I love what you were saying, Preacher Walker.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Let's bow down to the almighty dollar.
That was good. How you been, buddy?
I've been good, man. I've been good. Yeah. We're just kind of talking about where we are as far as, what we're experiencing on our phone calls, where we are as far as the marketplace, taking a wide angle view of exactly what it is, the environment that we're in. And I guess my point is, don't be discouraged with what you're seeing. It is a cycle. And Claude has been in the real estate game long enough, and a lot of us have, that have been around long enough. We know that the cycle will shift. That's what real estate does, right? That's your boo-hoo, right? Don't cry to you, right?
I gotta tell you.
Okay.
I just had this conversation with Claudia.
Okay.
Up or down? Does anyone stop eating? Depression, recession, war, 9/11, pandemic, COVID. Does anyone stop eating?
Nobody.
Vernon is, and I just saw him he had his margarita there.
Take a shot.
We're in the real estate business. Everyone needs a place to live. You might live with mom and dad. You might rent an apartment. You might invest. We're in the most wonderful business because we can make money in an up or down market because it's a necessity of life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We just did, I got a surprise on Monday. Mrs. Diamond is very happy. We just did a 5-figure deal.
Wow.
Yeah. And the prospect came to me out of nowhere on a deal. Great guy. We had an adult to adult, that nice, comfortable conversation. My new fella is on here somewhere. Alan Bryan there. Alan, first thing Alan said, we talked this morning. Alan said, when I get on the phone, I get that frog in my throat, right? Remember that, Alan? He said, oh, man, and if we can learn to get so confident and comfortable on that phone and just talk to a number of people every day, make some offers, a lot of people say no, I guarantee this, magic will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most wonderful business, but we've got to be consistent.
Yeah.
In a market.
Yeah, and that's key. What Claude just said, the consistency with which you do it. Just, I know you're going to go through challenges. There's going to be some days where you're going to be like, I am so over this nonsense. I'm pretty sure, Claude, you probably quit a number of times in this business for about 2 minutes, right? Like I'm done. It's over. I'm not doing this again. And then you come to your senses and you realize that, that's just the game we're in.
It's a game. My biggest problem is I love this business. I love talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be the shy guy, the reluctant. I was the worst sales guy. And if we can, Vernon and I were talking about this the other day. It always comes back to this. You can have all the bells and whistles, all the gurus, all the neat little software, but if you can't get on that phone and just talk with another human being, say, you know what, can I ask you a few questions? I've got some solutions here. Maybe we can do business.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. It's okay to say no to me. I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to send you a letter of intent. Can you get back to me at 4:30 today? And if you do this often enough, just ask, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just keep asking. Sooner or later, someone's going to say yes, and you're going to have one of the best days of your life.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best days. And when you make money off the sweat of your own creative brow, it's a wonderful feeling, isn't it? You're 2 feet above that ground there.
Oh, walking on air.
Honey, we're having steak tonight,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. I want to ask you something because, right now, and I guess it's always been the case with you, but in the last 6 to 8 months, I've really seen you ramp up your, what we call attraction marketing. This deal that you did today, was that a attraction marketing result?
Yes. It was, I can tell you, it was from an old video that I did with my good friend Joe McCall.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy watched it and he said, I saw you make a phone call with Joe. And I know it was real because you can't fake it was a live phone call. And I was really lucky. Okay. We talk about skills. I had the right guy at the right time. Joe gave me this phone call from nowhere.
All right.
He picked the number and it was just, I was lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But he saw that video and he said, I had to call you because I always do these videos and I give my phone number or attach it in the text in YouTube or Facebook. And the guy called me and instead of going into that intellectual presentation mode, starting the slides and everything, I said, what's the problem here? What's the issue? And we just had a great, when you meet another human being and you make that connection, what do we call a symbiotic or just a bro fest? Okay.
Right. Just a bond.
Yeah. Just a bond. Better word. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you make that connection and that person says, I like this other human. I can relate to this person. I can connect with them.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we're just too darn mechanical. We're just too scripted. There's my other buddy, Alex Wosek.
Alex is in the house.
Yeah.
Just from my phone.
If I can just make that connection with this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and even if I can't do the sale, I'm so worried. I bruise easily. And if I get, if I get too many rejections,
Yeah.
I don't want to make any more phone calls.
Yeah.
Nobody does it. I understand that about myself. And I think that's true for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
I can't make phone call after phone call after phone call and get all that rejection. So if I have a system like you teach so wonderfully, round of applause for Victor for doing this every Wednesday, by the way.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
He's a good man here. Practice is what Victor does, what Justin does, what I do on Mondays and Beer Week. We practice. We cannot take this sales persuasion skill for granted. But to answer your question, yes, guy saw the video, called me up. I switched him to Zoom. We had a face-to-face and boom. It's a happy day at the Diamond household.
Yeah. Okay, Claude. So I just get into this. I'm just into the business. I have a little bit of a budget. I don't have a lot of lead. I can't go out and buy a bunch of leads or whatever. I got a camera on my computer. I want to start to, build this thing. If you're me, what do you start doing to attract some people to what you're doing? What kind of content are you putting out? What would you suggest to me? You say, Victor, look, just do a video on how to do this.
Let's first of all reverse engineer the process.
Okay.
Put yourself in the shoes of the prospect you're trying to sell. Who's your prospect? Buyer, seller, investor? Who is your prospect, first of all? Who do you want to attract into your world? Someone with a house for sale? Okay, in a certain geographic area, a certain type of house, a certain dollar sign. What do you think when that person looks for information? What do you think is attractive to them? 5 secrets of selling your home for the top sales price. How to sell your home in the next 30 days without a realtor. Have you discovered the rent-to-own solution? And you put these great titles in there. And then you do a 2-3 minute video or a blog or some pictures or something like that. What's that one web page that does all the pictures? It's like a Google for picture, Quorum or oh gosh, put something out there.
Kind of like a Pinterest or something.
Yeah. But it's another one. It starts with Q or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I think I can't think of it right now, but put out some content, pictures, video, audio. Do live streaming like you're doing. Victor, do you get phone calls after you do these little things?
I do. I get phone calls. I get partner up situations, people that I can, build relationships with.
Can I tell you the truth or should I just make you feel good before I leave here?
Okay, I'll take truth.
The truth is we love warm calls.
Yes.
They're so much easier.
Yes.
Hi, Victor. I saw somebody told me about it. I saw you're streaming and I've got a property here and can you help me? Or how do I do this or that? Boom. You've got a great conversation there. And is all the stress, is all the pressure gone when someone calls you, texts you, emails you?
Oh, it's over.
It's over. It's so much easier. Now, when you're making cold calls, I make cold calls still too. Okay.
Good.
Sometimes it's quiet or I'll see a great property on Zillow or Craigslist. I'll say, let me call them up. I know this territory. I know that housing development. Let me call them up anyway. And I'll try to make a connection. But Attraction marketing. If you were brand new, I'd say put out some content every day, make a little 2-minute video, write down on a list all these great little topics that you think will be attractive, and put them out on a regular, and just speak honestly. You don't have to be fancy. Don't need all those special effects and everything like that. And just put out that content and make sure they can connect. And you also offer a reward, an incentive.
Right.
Give something away for free. So that's step number one. Number two, learn the system of sales that we talk about, Guts. Learn how to call people and stay relaxed, stay comfortable, ask questions, and then go into your Zillow, your Craigslist, your PropServe, whatever, all the good things you teach. And call up some people on properties that you can, maybe you know about them, they're nearby, you can relate to them, and open up with a pattern interrupt too. You know me, I love my pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Victor, ring. Victor, what happened?
What are you talking about? Who is this?
This is Claude. What happened, man?
What happened about what?
That you got that property on Cheesesteak Street. I'm hungry today. You got that property on Cheesesteak and Pepper Street, and it didn't sell. That's a nice home, man. That should have sold in a New York minute. What's the problem?
Oh man, I have no idea why the home hasn't sold. To be honest with you, everybody's saying it's a seller's market, but I haven't been able to sell it for some reason.
Want to sell it today?
Heck yeah.
I'm ready to do business. Can I ask you 2-3 quick questions? You ask me a few. I'll make you a couple offers. If we can do business, great. If not, tell me to get lost and you'll never hear from me again.
Sounds good. Shoot.
Boom. I'm in the door. That is a pattern interrupt leading to a premise of a comfortable adult conversation. We are, pardon my language, ladies and gentlemen, but my mentor used to always say this: we've got to learn to turn chicken shit into chicken salad.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, absolutely.
I do one thing. I talk to people every day. Cold calls, follow up, and warm calls. I talk to people. I try to make it relaxed and fun and comfortable. I tell stories. I ask questions with stroking and nurturing. And just try to make it the most uncomfortable. Here's the question. Are we responsible for the environment and sales?
We are. We create it.
Yeah. If we're calling up and, hi, just reaching out to you today, would you want to do a wholesale lease purchase subject to owner finance deal today? No. Click.
Right.
It always goes back to that wonderful definition of insanity. What is it, Larry? You know, what's the definition of insanity, Larry? Yeah, you.
Doing the same thing over and over again, Larry.
We do the same thing over and over again.
And expect different results.
So we got to change the paradigm. Hey, I hate to say this, I'm going skiing.
You're like later. Tell Claudia we said hello.
Tell her yourself.
Hey, Claudia.
I just came down to remind him he's supposed to be going skiing.
Oh, right. Let's get it moving there, buddy.
I got it. I'm his Uber driver, so he's got to get out of here so I can do some stuff.
There you go. All right, get
Good
rid of it. Good to see you again.
I'm going to give you $15 an hour minimum wage pretty soon. But
hey, well, thanks for coming on and sharing that with us, because I think, that's exactly where we need to go now, is start to, create our own audience and start to, become our own experts and sort of, attract people to us and release the pain of always trying to hammer down a door, right?
Exactly. And thanks to Bob G. He wrote it in the chat box, Quora or Curo. I never pronounce it right. Quora. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
I love Quora. I mean, if you guys have ever used it, I love pictures and graphics and mind maps, and Quora is just eye candy. It's wonderful to learn stuff through that means there.
Absolutely.
Thanks for everything. You guys You guys are so lucky. This is Mr. Wonderful over here. This is a guy. Listen to this man. He knows what he speaks.
Appreciate you, Claude. Thank you for
See you later, guys.
jumping
Be
in.
good.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Claude.
your
Thanks.
enjoy your skiing and be safe on the slopes.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
That's right. I know it's tough. All right. Well, cool. So Claude just kind of, reiterated, what I'm saying, a mindset sort of shift. And I think we're to really succeed, we're going to have to move away from the buying lists and going, just spending money on a whole bunch of lists and stuff, and then trying to hammer people, being the fifth person that has called them in the last 30 minutes, and now you're trying to, be clever or be interesting or something like that. It's a whole different game if we can shift it to where they're now calling us, where they see us as an authority on something, where they connect with us because of our, video or something that they've seen about us. And I just think that that's just going to be the people who can do that the best are going to have the most success, right? And we can all do it. Like every single one of us has an audience. Every single one of us has an audience that will relate to us, right? Because like, Vernon, there'll be people who relate to you who will be like, that Victor kind of annoys me. Right? There'll be, Alex, he would come up and he'd be like, his way of being, and people will like connect to it. Crystal will go on and she'll be like herself, and people will connect to it. And they might not connect with me or Vernon or Alex, but they connect with her. So we just have to, I guess the bottom line is find our audience. And our audience by itself can give us all that we're looking for as far as the money, the respect, the repeat business, the referrals, everything else that goes along with it. So I know it's getting a little bit late. I have one call that I wanted to make. You guys want to hear one quick call before we get off?
Yeah. Hey, can I ask
Yeah.
a quick question? Oh, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
11:56.
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, guys, yeah, my name's Alex. I'm out here in Denver. Got some deals going on out here, and I was curious about list stacking in regards to that. I know it's kind of an interesting play. Essentially, what you're doing is you're getting multiple motivations. Maybe someone's tax delinquent, vacant, going through probate, and you can essentially get multiple pain points and stack them on top of each other. And then you
Right.
contact people that are like a 3 to a 5 stack.
Right.
So my question is, what systems are you guys using? Because I mean, I know you can, do lists and you could pull lists, but it's good to have like a data management area where you can essentially have an address that has multiple pain points. I didn't know if you guys use REI Sift or batch leads or anything else. If anybody had anything else, I think this is just talking about this, I think this is gold going to where we're at with the seller's market. I mean, people have 5 to 6 pain points. I mean, these are big deals if you can get those people. I wanted to see if anybody had anything on that.
So I'll tell you what I use. I use a couple of systems. I use FreedomSoft is my primary CRM, right?
Okay.
I got on it. There's a couple of things that I look for whenever I'm looking, especially for outside sort of products. The number one thing has got to be uptime. Like if you can show me a historical of how much you've been down for over the last 5-year period, that's going to tell me a lot about whether or not I want to hang out with you. Right? Like, I invested in a system about 6 months ago. I think it's been down for 3 of those 6 months. Right? And then I bought a year's worth of the system, and now they won't give me my money back. So that's just, money lost. So if you're looking for systems, look for something that doesn't spend any downtime. So I use FreedomSoft, and then I just started using REI Reply. The reason I use REI Reply is also because of lack of downtime and the fact that once you learn how to use it, it allows you to move things in such a way that it's really simple. You grab and move. Like I was just telling Vernon earlier, like if I want to make a phone call right after a text, I simply move and drag it to right after the text. And I put in there, send in 5 minutes. So now you get a text from me. 5 minutes later, you get a ringless voicemail from me. right? If that's the process I want to use. So I can sit there and kind of play with it and kind of monitor which one works best for me. And then of course, my go-to system as far as comping and, obviously I use all the online stuff, but PropStream is my go-to system as far as, pulling up property information, comps and everything. And then I have a little bit of an advantage in some ways because I also have a couple of title company relationships that allow me to go in and pull title company reports directly from the title company. But that's it.
Killer.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that kind of what you were asking as far as the systems?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, I use a few systems right now, and I'm cutting down on software and stuff like that because I need all of them to communicate with each other because you got to get your leads, get them skip traced. I use LexisNexis. They're awesome. It's a $2,000.
They're really awesome. You use them for skip trace?
I do. Minimum $2,000 spend annually. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. They will get you like 7 emails. They'll get you like 6 cell phone numbers.
2,000 minimum. 2,000 minimum.
Yeah.
2,000 minimum. Exactly. Yeah.
You use a 2V?
No,
Yeah.
I looked into it. They wanted me to it was last year and I think it was maybe September, and they told me I needed to spend those $2,000 by December 31st, or else I still would get billed the $2,000.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So there is a way to kind of overcome that. And I think that if you look at what automated REI, they're basically aggregators from what I can tell. That's why sometimes you have to, wait for some of the results to get back. And what I mean by that is they'll get all of our orders together and they won't send out the order until it reaches a certain number. And so they can offer us a price because they get the volume discount because they're sending over 10,000 requests at one time, right? So if you wanted to do like a LexisNexis, what you'd want to do is you want to grab a whole bunch of folks together and, kind of, put them on one account and get all of their stuff and do it all at the same time. But I'm like you, Vernon, I couldn't take the risk of getting that 2K bill because I was, $200, 200 requests short, right? Like, that was a little bit risky for me. I couldn't do it either. But like Alex says, the information is
good.
Killer.
Information is devastating. Devastating.
Yeah.
I had a realtor friend in Jersey who had access. It'd give you all of their information, the cousin, the aunt, the uncle, everybody to find that one person. You'll track them down with Nexus Lessons. You will track them down.
Absolutely. You will. They will find somebody. They're the FBI of skip tracing. Like you can't hide. They will eventually find it. They're like a scorned woman, right?
Yeah, they will find you.
And if for those of you guys who are like listening, you're like, man, I don't got 2 racks to spend or whatever. Skip Genie is really good. I don't know what their plans are, but Skip Genie, they'll find you, family members. They'll tell you if people are deceased. So those are for like deep prospecting when you're really trying to find folks. So I think it's called Skip Genie.
The target that he's talking about that really would apply to is vacants.
Yeah.
You trying to find vacants? Oh my God. They're hard to find. A lot of people want to come in right now and it seems like it's the obvious target, right? Oh, well, they're vacant. They must want to get rid of it. Okay, now try to find them.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Heck yeah.
Hey, Steve,
well, cool. Sorry to get sidetracked on that, man. List stacking is the truth, man. List stacking is the truth. So you're not skip tracing the same numbers multiple times. And so if anybody has anything else, tap in with us.
The PropStream, if you get the list automator, it helps you not receive stuff. It helps you, lets you know if the property was recently sold, so you don't skip it or you don't look for it and stuff like that. That list automator
That's
in there,
good.
it's an extra added cost, but it can over a year it can save you some money
Absolutely.
and headache.
Yeah, because it's continuing to do the work that you would have to do manually, and to sort the work of doing that is just, you know, I mean, we don't have time. Vernon, I know for sure, he works a second job. I believe he's there now, you know,
Yep,
so it's
I'm
like,
down.
yeah, it's like, you know, you don't have time to go over there and try to, you know, clean up lists, figure out which ones you've already dealt with, you know, go through and find all the duplicate. Oh my God, you know, that's a part-time job. So the list automator system that they developed, oh my God, it's
Well, it's
awesome.
an awesome system.
Yeah.
Awesome system.
Yeah,
Hey,
if you
Victor,
can, if you can afford it, or even if you could team up, and you guys do this, you know, team up with other people and do it together, and you know, cut your budget down. I'm sorry, LaShonda, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I had a question about that. As far as the list automator and trying not to re-skip over the same re-skip the same people. Like if you pull a list, right, and then you skipped it or whatever.
I was recently turned down.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because I was here. I guess I was hearing somebody else.
No, yeah. I muted it. It's okay.
Okay, and then 2 or 3 months down the line, 3 or 4 months down the line, you go back into, we'll say prop stream, because that's what I'm using, and that's what a lot of people are using. You go back into prop stream, and then you pull another list, right? And it's got, well, before you pull it, you look and you see where you have already may have skip traced these people, but you want to reach back out to them again. How do you avoid re-skipping them? Because you know you already skipped them. You know what I'm saying? You already skipped them. You already have their telephone number, but it may be on another list, not in PropStream, not in your PropStream system, but maybe in your CRM. So when you go back into PropStream months later or whatever, and you want to pull another list, and some of those people may be on that list, how do you avoid from re-skipping them, if that makes any sense?
It does. So what you need to do is REI Sift and batch leads. They both have a system for list stacking that'll tell you who's been skip traced, when it's been skip traced, and stuff like that. So yeah, if you got questions on that, I can you can message me as well.
Okay.
I can speak on PropStream. PropStream, I had this discussion with them, and they have a system in place where they don't double skip and charge you if the person's already been skipped as well.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, they did tell me that, but that's if you're using their service to skip trace. I don't use PropStream to skip trace. So
oh, gotcha.
If you're not, you know what I'm saying? If you're doing it within the platform, then it's especially PropStream is pretty well much already lined out for you. But I just use PropStream to pull, and then I use another service to skip. Because PropStream, they just recently reduced their skipping down, because at first it was like freaking what, 30 cents, 25 cents to skip. It was really expensive.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I have List Automator, and I think now it's 9 or 10.
Yeah, and if you go to automated REI, you can get it down even more. But you know, there's a much longer waiting period, and you know, like I said, they're aggregators, so they'll gather a bunch of names. So you might have to wait, you know, 24, 48, maybe even 36 hours to get your information back. And I believe they skip through batch, so that's the information you're going to get. So as far as the duplicates go, when you're talking about cross-pollinating systems like that, there's an extra step that I think you have to do. Like if you're keeping your Excel spreadsheets, you've got to manage it through your Excel spreadsheets, because you can't just be, you know, putting in the list and just dropping it down in there, right? Go through the Excel spreadsheet, put in the Excel spreadsheet, you know, run the duplicate search function in Excel. It's built in. Run the duplicate search, take out all the duplicates and stuff, and run your list again. So, you know, that's one way to do it. But really, you know, what you're talking about, when you start cross-pollinating systems, there's no way for them to know. Like,
yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, there's no way for them to know unless you clean the list up that you put into the system. You know, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If
There
you
you
don't clean
go.
up the list, then they're going to just give you, they're going to give you back what you asked for.
You
Got
just
it.
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
If I might. When it comes to skip tracing, all right, I hear so many people, I get it for a nickel, I get it for 8 cents, I get it for 12 cents. It's all a matter of what the quality of the data that you're getting. If the data you're getting is just public information, you can get that from anybody. You can
Yeah.
go online and get that for free.
Yeah.
I use TLO. I'm a
Mhm.
lender. And as a lender, it's hooked up with TransUnion.
Okay.
So it costs me $1 a hit or something like that every time I go on and do a search. But I know right away if the person's deceased, where their new addresses are, and you get what you pay for. You know, LexisNexis is a great tool,
Yeah.
and
It's
but
a
that
great tool.
gathers every piece of public information that's out there. They have a great scraping system. You know,
Yeah.
so they use, you look at your public, your police departments and all, they're using TLO, they're using LexisNexis, or sometimes both, sometimes just one. But, if you go ahead and if you're just looking for phone numbers and you're just on a max blast and, you just we call it creaming the paper. If you're just going to go through 1,000 leads or 500 leads or whatever it is, and you just want to just get phone numbers, and you don't know what you're getting, but it's the story of big data. Some are gonna get hits, some aren't.
Yeah.
What's that
Yeah.
deal worth if you really find a guy?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of it is going to be dictated by your budget. If you're starting off in this game and your budget is small, you haven't closed any deals, get whatever information you can get at whatever price point you can get it. What happens, and Steve and Rick, all these guys will attest to this. As you become more sophisticated, I'll say, as you start to understand a little bit more about exactly what information you're looking for, the quality of the information that you're looking for, then you're going to start to, scale up as far as the quality that you're willing to pay for. Because now you know how to talk to these people. You've done some deals, you know how to structure. You're willing to pay more because you know that you can turn that into additional profit centers. But in the beginning, do whatever you have to do. Get leads, talk to people. Get leads, talk to people. Go through that process. That is the beginning of your career, no matter what.
As time goes on, you're gonna find that the people that don't answer the phone, don't answer your email, don't answer your text, everybody else that's marketing to them is getting the same answer. Those are the ones you all of a sudden you start reaching in deep and you spend 10, 15 minutes on, and you start calling the neighbors or you call the relatives and you find the guy. And it's very, very few people digging to find that.
Yeah.
And Victor, that's where you make the money, right?
That's right. That's right. Especially, again, going back to the target, especially for what he's referring to, is the vacant houses. The best way that you can source a vacant house is through the neighbors, period. Period. If you can get a hold of the neighbors, they more than likely know the person, where they're at. They're probably, in communication. Look, can you check on the house periodically for me? Can you send your kid over there to cut the lawn? Whatever it is. I find that vacant house, and I mentioned that I have access to the title company. One of the things the title company does is whenever I pull a property profile, they give me the neighbor list, 100 neighbors surrounding them. Obviously, it's a great thing for a real estate agent, right? Because if you sell something, you want everybody in that area to know that you sold something and what you sold it for, right? So it's really good for that, but it's really, really good if you're playing in the vacant house arena. Don't forget the neighbors. They are your number one source. They're better than LexisNexis. They're better than all these other guys when it comes to, finding out. Get on the phone, make a relationship, and find out about the house and tell them you're going to improve their neighborhood somehow. Or you don't have to tell them, but they can assume that I am so tired of this damn vacant house and everything that goes along with the vacant house. The nosy neighbor is the one that'll help you get it fixed. Anyway, with that, guys, we're running over. I promise you next week, I'll make phone calls. All right. And we'll do some more phone calls. But if you want to see some phone calls made and you want to see a guy on there that really knows how to do it, and I join him also on Thursdays, Mark Richardson will be on this same back station tomorrow, and he'll be making live phone calls and stuff. And it's, definitely you want to tune in. It's going to be awesome. Mark, I saw you unmute yourself. You want to say something about?
Just thank you, Victor, for everything. I really appreciate all your knowledge and stuff. And yeah, we'll see if we can get a couple other people to make some calls tomorrow too, and build some confidence, and get ourselves going for sure.
Yeah. So what he does on his call also is, we'll have other people make calls. Jerry, he's a big contributor. He gets on and he makes calls and stuff, and we get to coach each other. We get to maybe inject some stuff in the chat that try this or try that or whatever. It's a lot of fun, and it's just great practice for everybody. Hey, before I go, let me just do a quick roll call. Alex, Carl, Mark, Steve, thanks for showing up, Steve. Always appreciate you. Addie, Alan, Anthony, Bob G, Chuck, Crystal. Thanks, Crystal, for showing up. Jemiah, Larry, LaShonda, Marvin, Raron too. I'm not really sure who that is, but we appreciate you being here. Rick Gentry, thanks, buddy. You're always welcome. Vernon, Waylin, and Yi Ming, thank you guys again for showing up, you guys, and contributing. Really appreciate you. You want to say something, Steve?
Yeah, Victor, just remind everybody, Monday night, we got special host 9 o'clock. John Ionati is going to be on 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, baby, should be good. That's he's all options and all kinds of thinking outside the box.
Oh, my goodness.
Deals and well, you're going to come on down and see it. He probably won't get on the call till about 10 after, quarter after. We can bounce the ball around a little bit before that, but this is great. If you missed the call, you blew it, and a lot of people know John. So, 9 o'clock Monday night. It's open to everybody. It'll be an open call. So bring your friends, and we want to push membership on this program. So bring somebody else down, have them spend a couple of bucks and join. Thanks, Victor. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You guys weren't here last week, Steve did an amazing job. We'll see you guys on Monday. Thank you guys all for showing up. Really appreciate you. Have a great week.
Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Great job there, preacher man.
You as well. All right.
Thanks, Steve. Take care, guys.
Hey, Victor.
Yeah.
Man, quick question. You do any business out in San Jose?
I don't have any business there right now. Why? What's going on?
Man, I got an off-market deal out there, like a fix and flip. We're picking it up at like $650, and after we add a bed and one bed and one bath, it'll be worth $1 million, 1.1, and they're willing to hold back about 300,000. So I'm just trying to figure out how to piece this thing together. I didn't know if you were in that area. I know you're in California.
I have buyers in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about trying to flip it myself because it's just me and another dude, and I'm just trying to figure. There's about 200,000 in profit on that one, so I'm just trying to figure out how to piece that one together from being in Colorado.
Oh my goodness. Hey, are you on Facebook Messenger?
Yep.
Okay, I'll send you a message and maybe we can connect.
Okay, man. Yeah, let's tap in, man. I think there's good opportunities out there.
For sure.
Cool.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right, man.